Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Work in Progress Wednesday. I am joined by my usual co-host, Will, otherwise known as Tactical D-Bag. Hello, Will.
Hello. Hello.
I believe we're going to be joined by DarthBob soon, but wait, is DarthBob here? Oh no. And then we are also joined by our. Are we calling you the decoy German, the emergency German? What are we calling you?
I guess I gave myself the title Decoy German, so yeah, why not? Agent of Chaos puts a lot of pressure on me, to be honest.
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry, man. Didn't want to pressure you. Yes. So I like emergency German because it reminds me of oh my god, it's an emergency. We need a German. Who will save us? Symbio Joe to the rescue. Thank you for saving us, Symbio, because our normal German friend, Kajan, has got a migraine tonight, which just sucks. As someone who gets migraines, I get how terrible that can be.
I always kind of like the hockey terminology for the emergency backup goalie.
What was that?
Maybe we can in hockey, if because you usually have a goalie, a goaltender, and a backup goaltender, but if both of them kind of fall ill or injured or whatever,
yeah,
there's a concept as a emergency backup goalie, which is like just this third party person that you basically sign.
Is it just like the coach? Like the coach throws on some pads and is like, "Well, I guess I'm in net."
Not all the time. Sometimes it's usually like somebody who is like in a beer league or something, and like just
Oh, I feel like I've once heard a story of they once called in the emergency backup goalie and he was like really good.
Yeah, it comes up very rarely, but when it does, it's always kind of fun. And he's like, "Yeah, let's do this."
Yeah. In case of broken glass, add German or something like that.
Yes, and well, this is not German, but my my German tea for tonight.
What the fuck?
What?
Sasquatch Schnitzel.
Vienna style lager. Who knows what the hell this is? Look, it's a Sasquatch.
Uh-huh. Totally. Mountain people. Those are different.
It's brewed in Ottawa.
German.
I don't know they know anything about Sasquatches or Schnitzel in Ottawa.
Or Vienna.
Or Vienna. Anyway, here we go.
Austrians are probably offended.
This was a gift from, I think, Nora's cousin. I can't remember where this came from. It's like Sasquatch. And Schnitzel.
I've been craving some Schnitzel, to be honest.
So I wasn't sure where we should start. I've got some cheeky unboxing that we could do. That's why my video is so wide. And I've also got some there's like Warhammer stuff that we could talk about. What do you think we should start with?
Obviously the unboxing, because
right,
Warhammer like miniature stuff sounds incredibly too like on topic for this stream.
Yes, that would be unfortunate.
Two boxes?
Yeah, so this one's pink. And if you can't guess who it is already, here's a hint. I may have already opened this one.
Oh, it is our favorite Horny Gaunt.
Did you call her Horny Gaunt?
She calls herself that.
Okay, as long as she calls herself a Horny Gaunt, that's fine. Yes, this is from none other than... Look at how glittery this is in here.
Oh, that's very...
None other than High Fleet Hyper. Self-described Horny Gaunt. She's being horny on main for a long time. So we got this. We got one of these. Pink is political. I love it. So good. And then the real pièce de résistance in here is a Termagant.
Yay!
So in honor, like inspired by the Gaunt swap that you guys didn't participate in because you're terrible people, I had this idea of getting different Gaunts from different members of the community who have very iconic paint schemes, and I feel like there's few paint schemes as iconic as High Fleet Hyper, which is a paint scheme after my own heart. With some really...
It is a dope paint scheme.
And it
I
is
do
the
like
case
the
that I
iridescent pink.
approached her about this a while ago, and she didn't really have the time for it. And I just kind of kept pestering her until she was like, "Okay, get out of here. Take your gaunt." So I commissioned her to paint me a gaunt, and I'm very happy to have it. It's super cool.
Nope.
So thank you so much, High Fleet Hyper. Oh man, it's like the pink is like glistening. Is it like nail polish? I don't know. It's great.
Might be.
It's funny, and the base is perfect because the base is like so like drab and subdued, like very well done, but very drab, subdued, and it contrasts so well with the violently awesome gaunt on top. Makes me feel like my bases should be more drab, but oh well.
Anything that is a visual assault is a win in my book.
I agree. Oh sugar. Sorry, hold on. Thought that was loose. Yeah. So that's box number 1 from Hyper. Thank you, High Fleet Hyper. Hyper's got these amazing stickers that you can get from her. She's got all kinds of different ones. So box number 1 and box number 2 is a little more involved, but also from somebody who you may recognize, no, although maybe not as well as Hyper. Okay.
Well, let's take a guess.
What do you want to guess?
I don't know. I want to guess. I want to guess along. I cannot tell from the box itself.
Well, I'll tell you, it came from the UK, Royal Mail.
Is it Flynn?
Okay, that narrows it down a little.
Very little. Anyone in the chat want to guess where this one's from? This is someone I've never gotten anything from before in my life. And I didn't expect to get anything from them, but this is a gift. And let me tell you, it's a kingly gift.
Not Suggs, is it?
What? Suggs?
Yeah,
Cerberus XT.
But what's her Savage Orc guy?
No, she doesn't know I exist. I met her in Nottingham, and she's like, she doesn't know I exist, basically. So, good guess. Cerberus XT? No, but I am stealing Cerberus XT's bag, because apparently I've been identified as Warhammer Woke, because apparently I painted Cerberus XT's amazing Gate Smasher Marines. And
No, you're
that's all I do.
permanently talking about it, and this channel is all about the colors.
Yep. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Oh, we got a box within a box. Look at this. Look at this, like, very high level packaging. That's a lot of bubble wrap. Might be something that's kind of fragile. There's another hint.
I don't.
Oh,
I have no idea.
Hive Felix, the original. Mixed selection biomass and gravy. I like that. Oh, Hive Purina, Felix the original.
Oh.
Oh, there's all it's all written up. Once a Felix.
I don't. Maybe I don't know this person. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
On the tasty first time, Felix Nid food has the right combination of protein's essential biomass that little Felix Nids need to grow into big Felix Nids. Perfect fuel for the first year's adventures.
Well, this is of course a big plus. We have a nice box. We have custom text, which is great.
Basically,
nice
all
packaging.
the references to cat have been changed to Nid on this box. Oh, look at this! Look at this beautiful Nid right here. This is a good box.
Wait, that's not High Fleet. No, wait.
You thinking about Felix? Felix Kroot, dude?
No. I will reserve my guess right now.
Is anyone guessing in the chat?
But I have a suspicion.
Oh, do you? Man, this is really well packaged.
Very well packed. Very well packed.
I love that you're like, I have a suspicion, I'm not going to say it, so that no matter what it is, you're going to be like, I called it.
Yeah, of course. That's how I do it.
Oh
Listen and learn, children.
How do I get this thing open?
Maybe just throw it on the ground.
I'm not part of your system.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Ah.
Someone tried very hard to make sure this thing was not thrown on the ground. The hell?
That's a dumb.
Okay, there we go. Here we go. Here we go. I think this is the
Okay,
fun part.
okay. Foam. Foam is all right. Also, different foam. Very essential that you use different
Oh, I can see
packaging.
it.
Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
get this out of
No,
here without breaking it.
I'm wrong.
Oh, how do I?
Oh, no.
Okay. I think I need to break the whole box open because there we
Is it
go.
persnickety? Did you get something from Persnickety Sculptor?
God, no, I wish.
Ah,
Almost as cool,
damn
though.
it.
Possibly more cool, actually.
Not Thrifty Squirrel, is it?
Oh. And here we go.
Maybe off. Ah, it's another of the movie thingies.
Another. It's the original movie thingy.
So you commissioned him?
No, I just mentioned it. And makeup sponges, which I need for my noosh.
Of course.
I was saying how much I loved this is Illogic.
Yes.
Illogic on Instagram, and I was saying how much I loved his work. And he was like, I'll send it to you. I'm like, okay, how much do you want for it? Because I was actually going to ask you if I could commission it off you and buy it off you. And he's like, no, I'm just going to send it to you. I'm like, okay, but like, I need to pay for the shipping. He's like, you can make a donation to a charity for the amount of shipping if you want. So if you're not familiar with Illogic, you need to go find Illogic on, Will, do you know Illogic?
Apparently I do not.
Well, wait, Symbio, do you have admin privileges? Can someone post in the chat?
Yeah, I'll find it.
Actually, Symbio, if you comment in the chat, I'll make you an admin. There you go. You prepared to be mad with power?
No.
Well, too bad.
All of you are bad. Ah! No, I was under the wrong impression. I was under the impression that you already have a moving Van Ryan sleeper.
I do not. Okay, so now here is the deal with this Von Ryan sleeper. If you've not seen Illogic, one of my nice friends here will post a link to Illogic's profile. Well, look, there's this weird handle down here. I wonder what it could do. Oh, why are there these weird pins attached to this Von Ryan sleeper? Let's see. Oh! Oh! Okay, I feel like I need to play Tool while I'm doing this. Okay, that's horrible. Yeah, so it's a moving Von Ryan's Leaper. He's been doing this like, is this called clockwork? I don't know what this is called.
Yeah, clockwork works.
Yeah, he's been doing these clockwork minis for like a little while now, and they're getting pretty epic, but this one is particularly epic. I love it so much.
I posted up Illogic's Instagram profile.
Thank you.
Chat, so give him a follow. Cool stuff.
So yeah, this is pretty exciting. I think it's super cool. And I was very touched that he sent it to me. Because like I said, I was fully willing to pay him for it. So instead, I will pay a charity. Really, this guy should just be the intro for Work in Progress Wednesday. Doing a lot of this. Amazing. Enjoy. I certainly will. So there we go. That's all the unboxing.
Very exciting.
Well, that was some great unboxing.
Thanks.
Indeed.
I think so. Oh, he lost one of his mandibles. Oh no, he lost one of his mandibles. Did that break off in the box? I don't know. I'll go searching for it later. Okay. Still no DarthBob, eh?
Maybe he got waylaid by the time.
Well, DarthBob said that he had some travel stuff that he wanted to talk about, and I want to talk about travel stuff, but maybe we should talk about random hobby stuff first. So I will pull up some... Oh, what have I done? Breaking everything, that's what I'm doing. Oh, actually, before we do that, how are you both doing? This is what we should have opened with. How you doing this week? How's your hobby treating you this week? Symbio, why don't you start?
Well, I was on vacation in the wonderful city of Hamburg and was enjoying a lot of barbecue. So, no hobby progress here.
Oh, I saw a picture of a gas station.
Yeah, that was my drive home today.
Is Hamburg like famous for barbecues, or
No,
was it just a good friend?
it was the birthday of my ex-roommate, and it has become kind of a tradition that I visit him for his birthday.
I think
And
you've
yeah,
talked about this before. I remember this.
yeah.
Okay.
I go every year, and yeah, it was very enjoyable. It was very nice weather. Usually I start at 28 to 30 degrees from my hometown and end up at 20 degrees when I come to Hamburg. And this time I started, I think, at 15 degrees at my hometown and ended up at 18 degrees in Hamburg. So yeah, the weather was nice.
Oh,
It was
good.
acceptable. It was very coast city like, if there's something like that. I visited I visited the hobby store. Was a little disappointed that they had not more AK Interactive that I suspected. Yeah, and I had a lot of barbecue. So I'm still at the point of the creature conference state. So those termagants are still waiting for me to paint them.
Oh, okay, right. Oh, yeah, I guess we just talked to you on Friday. So,
Yeah, that is the fate of the decoy of the emergency German.
the emergency German.
Yeah, be effective. Eat a lot of meat.
That is part of your German identity, the meat.
Uh, y-
Oh.
yes.
All right, so maybe we should start with Will then. Will, how's your hobby situation been? How's your hand working out for you these days?
My hand is not in a cast anymore, so
Excellent.
I have full like movement and stuff. Well, I'd say that my hand is like 99% back to normal, which is good. Been kind of distracted. Like it's a fiscal quarter end at work, so
Oh,
like it, it tends to be a time period where you gotta just get like all of our numbers have to be go in. So it was uh
stressful?
draining. I guess not stressful so much as just like uh just takes up a lot of mental bandwidth. So I haven't had too much hobbying stuff done. So like between kind of recovering from the broken hand and work and some travel in between, haven't gotten too much going on. But I remembered I had a couple of little projects that I haven't finished up yet that I figured I would actually bust out the green stuff for the first time in a while and actually sculpt a little bit.
So what are you working on right there?
This is my little Neuralichter repos. I kind of
The flamenco dancer?
no, that's for a future case. Now this one's I'm kind of swapping. I straightened out the torso so it's not doing the like complete twisty thing that I think a lot of people sort of dislike about the model.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm changing up the arms a little bit just because, for whatever reason, the stock arms just weren't really doing it for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, just sculpting the midsection that got all jacked up because I had to like cut it apart. But,
Nice.
yeah.
And I haven't been doing a lot of like sculpting miniature stuff other than what I did on the creature conference last Friday. But I have been working on video stuff, And I have a new video coming out this Saturday, and it's going to be all about how to sculpt brains. And it's the video where I actually sculpt this giant brain that I have on the back of this patriarch that I'm working up for High Fleet Moloch. So you'll see how I sculpt this. And this is a topic that a lot of people have been asking for, how to sculpt brains. It's not that complicated with a few tips. So put it together with a few tips. And it's also the first video that I've done with a new editor who I'm working with. A friend of mine who lives in Toronto. So yeah, look forward to everyone seeing that on Saturday, or if you're a member of the Patreon, you can see it right now because it's already up there. But the next video will be coming kind of hopefully in short order after. Dwarfnage has been working on it. Mausoleum has been working on it for a while now, off and on, because he had some moves and some life stuff, and I had some life stuff, and yes, but we're getting close. We're getting close to finish, and that's a little bigger one about converting gene stealers. And like a look at the new kit and like a few different builds that you can do with it, which was a video that was actually sponsored by Fenris Workshop. If you want to support the channel, you can support me on Patreon, or you can buy something from Fenris Workshop if you live in North America. And the link, my affiliate link, is in the description below. So you can check that out. You got all kinds of cool stuff. Yeah, but that'll be like the video that they sent me the kit for. So I'm eager to have that out there in the world where people can see it. Because I think there's some pretty cool gene stealer conversions that I get up to in that one. And it might even arrive by the end of June Stealer, although I don't really want to release a video this weekend and then release another video next weekend. That doesn't make a lot of sense, and I don't know if it'll be ready in time. But anyway, speaking of June Stealer, let's talk about some, like, Games Workshop is celebrating June Stealer, but they're not saying it. So let's talk about some random Games Workshop June Stealer releases. So this week they previewed something really cool for Necromunda called a Malstrain Coalescence, which, if you haven't been following, the new version of Necromunda is Hive Secundus, which is a hive city that has been taken. It was taken over by the Gene Stealer culter, lost to the Gene Stealer cult / chaos, and then the residents decided this place is too overrun. Let's evacuate and just bomb it to heck. I think they're like gravity bombs or something. Do people know what was used?
Did not follow the lore too much, to be honest.
That makes two of us. So, yeah, this is they showed, you've probably seen the gene stealers. They're like, they got these weird messed up gene stealers, which are kind of neat. And then they previewed this monstrosity this week, which I think is cool. It's pretty body horror, that's for sure. But I think it's neat. And the thing that I was most excited about is that usually when they preview stuff that's going to be Forge World, they make a note in the article, like, this is Forge World resin. I was hoping this would be plastic. They didn't say Forge World resin in the article, but that doesn't really mean anything. It is on a textured base. I don't know if that means anything. Is that a thing with Necromunda? Do their plastic squads all come with Necromunda bases?
Normally, yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so that's a possible proof that this is going to be plastic. But it's also in the article, they said that this is just one of many monstrosities or something that are coming for the Malstrain, which is what they're calling these messed up gene stealers from Hive Secundus. Hive Secundus, I guess I should pronounce that properly. And yeah, I think this is neat. There's a lot of cool stuff going on here. Stephen May Miniatures has said that he sculpted an initial version of this, or designed an initial version of this when he was at Games Workshop. Then they made some changes to it. But I just couldn't help. Well, first of all, Symbio, what do you think of this thing?
I was positively surprised. Surprise is the main factor here, and then I read the post that our dear Marco made asking for opinions on it, and I gave it a little bit of a deep thought, because over the time there was a lot of, well, there was some intersection between Chaos and Tyranids. And what we did see was sometimes kit bashes when some Chaos champions were in need of a mutation, and as far as I know, Tyranid bits were the go-to, the easy go-to to get some mutations, demonic claws, or well, whatever. Because I think a lot of demon kits at the time were not plastic. That changed over time, and with the arrival of the Death Guard, that intersection grew bigger. Finally, we started to see Chaos bits more integrated into Tyranids. And looking at this guy, I think we are at the conclusion of this.
Yeah.
Everything above his head, the human head, that's to say, is Tyranid, but everything downwards can be anything. That is more Chaos, that is a little bit Tyranid.
Yeah.
And what sprang to my mind when I was thinking about it, the new Gene Stealers, they have the growths on their back, which reminds me very much about the growth that the Death Guard has, these very strange wooden growth that comes out. I think.
Oh yeah, like kind of like horns or bones or like.
Yeah, the Terminators have them, and the Carapace head or shield on this one also screams a little bit about that design. Something I was a little worried about before the new Tyranids came out, that we will get the designer that did the Death Guard, because the Death Guard, we know, has a very frivolous approach to represent the joyfulness of Grandfather Nurgle, and that would be something that would hardly fit with the serious, not to say clean image of the Tyranids we had so far.
Yeah.
So this guy, I would say,
it's a PNG. Yeah. I can put the Gene Stealers over everything.
Yeah, I would say this guy right now is peak intersection between the purest intersection you can have in sorts of bits between Tyranids and Chaos right now.
That's a really good observation, because that's something where the lore has always been, or the lore was back in the day, that Tyranids can't be corrupted by Chaos, or it doesn't happen very often, or something like that, because they don't have souls. But there's been people who have made like weird Tyranid armies that are like infected by Chaos, and I've always thought that was interesting. So I've been open to the idea, certainly. And when I look at this coalescence, and like the new Gene Stealers, it looks like they might be messed up by Chaos. They could just be like really freaky mutated. I just like that they're, like you said, I was pleasantly surprised that they would take them in this weird a direction.
There was one little info box, I think 4th edition codex, that or even 3rd edition codex, I'm not quite sure there, that it was observed that Hive fleets were navigating into the warp to accelerate mutation.
Oh, interesting.
To use warp energy as a catalyst.
Yeah.
But well, that was in the one of these little quote boxes that is mainly there to inspire the player. Then, well, canon lore, what you have it.
I find that inspiring. Okay, so I just looked up some Necromunda characters that I believe are forged resin, and they are also being shown on just like the textured bases. So we can't confirm that because the coalescence is on a textured base that it will be plastic. I'm really hopeful that it'll be plastic. Will, what do you think of these dudes?
Honestly, I didn't. I guess Joe's comments about the sort of like mix of chaos and nids isn't something that I'd come up in words, but like it makes a lot of sense. I do appreciate that GW is going kind of wild and wacky and like very different. I think one of the common complaints refrains that we always have here, and probably part of the reason why so many of us like to do kit bashes and convert stuff is just that they get GW has a tendency of kind of doing sort of boring stuff with Tyranids.
Let's say safe. But yeah, safe and probably a little boring.
I'm gonna go with boring. But
okay, good.
But like this is like just off the wall kind of stuff, and it's not my personal aesthetic, but I appreciate that they are just doing something very different. And just I guess the novelty of it is like it's nice to see that Games Workshop isn't staying too safe, and they're willing to do these like really kind of wacky stuff. And like this is one of the creepier things that I feel like they've posted up in a while, and that's like including a
even
lot
the
of like
chaos
demon
stuff. It got pretty creepy, but like that Mal coalescence is like real nasty.
Yeah. And wow, I don't. Again, I'm not like a huge fan of it necessarily. Within the Tyranid aesthetic or Gene Stealer cult aesthetic, like I'm just glad that somebody at Games Workshop is like getting the green light to do weird stuff like this. So
yeah.
it's more. I'm happy that Games Workshop is just getting to do more. Like they're not playing with kids' gloves with some of the design choices and concepts, which is great to see.
Cool. Hold on. I've got Nora hanging out here. I want to get her read on this because she likes weird alien stuff and weird body horror stuff. Oh, we could ask Ripley, but Ripley's pretty tired too. Nora, what do you think of this? This thing. It's some weird mutated gene stealer thing. What do you think of it?
Not sure.
I don't know if you guys can hear her. I don't know if the mic's picking her up. She's saying, I'm not sure what I'm looking at.
Yeah, we can. She's coming through.
It's like a bot. It's a human who's been like severely mutated. What? It's pretty big, bud. You got your glasses on. There's a better look.
Oh, that's his.
Yeah.
No, he's dead.
He's not. He's some kind of in between dead and alive, I think. Right there. There and there. Yeah. What do you think of it? It does look like a nutsack, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, it looks
like... I like that.
I am totally a human being. I do what human beings do.
Oh, who's that guy in the Men in Black? The guy who dresses the alien wearing the human suit. That's a good description, but this alien is not doing very well. All right, thanks. It's a gene stealer creation that's been messed up by interbreeding and mutating, being trapped inside like a bombed out husk of a city, I think. All right, there you go. There's the expert opinion.
Like 40K Chernobyl.
What did you say? 40K Chernobyl?
Yeah,
that's a really good way to describe it. So apparently Nora would not pay money for that. So in contrast, I wanted to pull up this picture, which is the model that's going to be released this weekend. This is the Benefictus, the other new Gene Stealer cult thing. I don't know. I don't like this model. I think it's boring. I think there's some bad design choices. I think they put random plates on the side of the head because they didn't know what to sculpt there. It's got like a spirit stone on it. That makes no sense. So I don't love this. And when I look at the two of them, I feel like I would rather have the thing on the left be my weird mutated Benefactus model that gives Tyranids or gives Gene Stealers boons than the thing on the right, because it's just, I don't know, not good.
Well,
No.
the Benefactus was described, I think, even in the article as human zoanthrope, and well, at least an anti-tank weapon for the Gene Stealer cult.
Yeah.
And yeah, you get the floaty zoanthrope vibe more from the Necromunda release than from the if. I think it is a poor choice that they made the model hunched over with the giant brain on its back, and it looks more like an add-on than it has naturally grown out of the body. It has a lot of this this big brain meme where the person uses his brain like a bean sack.
Oh, to sit on it like a beanbag chair?
Yeah, yeah, beanbag. That was it. Like a beanbag chair.
I like that.
It is. Yeah, it is. It looks very
safe and boring.
Safe and boring. I like that. That's how I feel about it. Safe and
stitched
boring.
together. I mean, just get rid of the brain mass and maybe start at the second plate from the head and make something smaller. That would work, because I really like the the sleeves or the crown that is left and right of it.
Yeah.
Because it has some very 40k Psyche feel to it.
Yeah.
But all the on top, it just looked like someone had transplanted a too big brain onto a too small body. Just dropped it down, just put some metal clamps on it, done.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what kind of reminds me vaguely of like a slightly just they kind of look like they wanted to make that Delax Spiker Megamind looking dude, but like a Tyranid.
But that guy was so good. Like, that was a really cool model. Like, sure, he looked like Megamind, but I love that model.
Oh yeah, no, it's a fun one. It's got like a lot of character, and this one was just like quick, I have an assignment that I need to turn in.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I'll stop dumping on this model, but I love the thing on the left, and I don't love the thing on the right. And I'm glad the thing on the left's coming, because the thing on the right I find is boring and safe and not interesting for Gene Stealers. But the Coalescence, as well as the weird new Gene Stealers, the mutated Gene Stealers for Secundus, they are damn fine. I feel like Gene Stealers are eating well with this stuff, even if their one character model to go with their codex was not good.
Yeah, that is Gene Stealer cults. I was just reminded that there, even since before the new Tyranids release, we were speculating about that Gene Stealer kill team. And now we have Gene Stealers in another system, and that gave me flashbacks to the whole line of miniatures that came out before the World Eaters release. So my guess is that we probably get a Blood Bowl Gene Stealer team before we get a kill team in before we get kill team Gene Stealers.
A Blood Bowl Gene Stealer team.
Yeah, there was a Khorne Blood Bowl team out before the World Eaters release, and that was really something that was like,
You do have a point.
Did you really had to do it in that order?
Oh man. Yeah,
that was very teasing to the very angry Marine community, I think.
Sorry, angry Marine community, is that a euphemism for Khorne? The angry Marines?
Yes. Well, the angry Marines per se are just loyal Marines, but if there is a core angry Marine, it got to be the core Berserker.
You're right. Oh man, Will, I'm trying to zoom in on like where you're working, and you're just working all over the screen.
Oh yeah, no, that's I'm that's an exercise in futility there. I haven't been like paying attention exactly where like the camera feed is focused on the
That's
stream.
fine. Where do you
So
feel most comfortable?
this is fine, sure. Like, I have a target area now, like focus on.
Okay. Okay, I kind of want to get like working on this model. And when I'm like showing stuff, I can't work on the model. And I was gonna save the like talking about trip stuff for when Joe came, or Joe's here. When Bob came. It's hard. You know, I got Joe, I got Bob, I got Will. These are very simple dude names. Symbio, are you able to take a look at the chat, see if what people are chatting about?
Oh, nothing that sprang out. I think one, the Electro Dust Bunny you answered to. Tom Wilson said, does anyone else think this model screams Nikki Relay? Which is correct, but she already said, I think, that it was not her doing, and it is Stephen Paint and Sculpt, maybe, who did it?
Yeah, Stephen May claimed responsibility for the coalescence.
Yeah, then
He
Mall
actually said
Ninja.
that it came from him. He said that his feedback was that the enemies in Secundus didn't seem weird enough, and that there needed to be some weirder enemies for people to fight against in like this bombed out ruins of a hive city. So he proposed this, but
Hold my biomass.
he said he pictured it as more of like a spore mine size thing, and it looks like this is bigger than a spore mine.
Yes.
So that was the canon. That was the lore that he's shared for it.
Can't strafe right. I think I'm the only person who to like the Benefictus. You might be correct there. Mall Ninja helped out on the Man in Black reference. Angus, your skin is hanging.
Oh, that's the line.
How about this?
Thank you, Mall Ninja.
Vincent D'Onofrio was so good in that role.
H00J says hello. Whoever that is, hello.
Hooch.
Hooch. Ah, Hooch.
Wait.
Okay.
Wait, is it like a J, hard J, or like are we talking like Danish J? So like
Hooch. Hooch.
hui.
Yo, listen, I just watched a Swedish video about how to say like 7 in Swedish, and it blew my mind.
Hard J.
Hard J. Awesome.
Oh, I love that the stream is like not delayed anymore. Remember when the stream was super delayed and like people couldn't see anything in real time?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
YouTube had like a box
amazing,
I could
like,
tick to not do that anymore, and I ticked that box so hard.
It's kind of amazing because like you post up stuff like to share on the screen, and it's not on the Discord. Normally, like you're like, hey, check this out, and like I think the rest of us are like, give it 7 seconds before we comment. But now it's just like about like a second away. It's pretty great.
Oh, it's good.
What I really like about the Necromunda release that it is a new theme. And apparently, looking at the Van Saargängers that are coming with it, there is a new upgrade kit. And that upgrade kit is always separate from the gang box. So you do not have to buy the gang box of the season. You just buy the upgrade kit.
So
and with that,
I'm not sure, Symbio. I thought that we were looking at those Van Saar models, and it looked like the legs were new.
Fire.
I think it's a new kit.
Possibly, but with the ash wastes, we did get a separate upgrade kit with, rebreathers and masks for every gang. We got a new unit for every gang, which is interesting. Yeah. And can we appreciate the Spire Hunters for a bit? Because those models, I think, look amazing.
I love them. I want them all. I'm so down with Spire Hunters. I was always kind of like Spire curious back in the day, but the models came out so well.
I still love the newer stuff of the LAC. I think they managed to get a really good, consistent vibe on that set.
The new terrain, well, okay, now we got destroyed Zone Mortalis terrain, which
Yeah, I'm
is
not interested in that at all.
okay-ish. I mean, people like Mortian already have a lot of 3D printable terrain for Zone Mortalis, which is amazing, and also covered that gap. And I'm not 100% sure if that terrain is very thought after, because I remember that people
It
always
is.
complain that you only can get destroyed terrain made by GW and not
Oh
well,
yeah, like the walls and
whole
stuff.
terrain. Yeah.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
I really like the special terrain, the little gene pods in the middle of the sphere. Of was it a sphere? I think not. Well,
It's like pillars or whatever, right?
yeah, different pillars. That looked great, but
Unfortunately, that looks like it comes with all the rest of it, though.
probably the question is, how much will they charge when they are going to sell it separately? Because GW has a bad habit to sell Necromunda stuff separately, way too expensive.
Well, I feel like the gang stronghold was weirdly cheap. Because I was comparing it to those hab blocks that they did for Ash Wastes, and I could get like one hab unit from Ash Wastes, and I
Yeah,
could get a whole gang stronghold.
yeah, but that game Stronghold was pretty early. Those hab units were way later, and
Yeah.
yes, I totally agree. Those hab units were overpriced, as was the Rich Hauler.
Yeah, agreed.
That was no, just no. G-dubs, what are you doing?
Side note, Can't Strafe Wraith did comment that the Vanthar models are new models.
Nice.
There you
Also-
have it. You heard it on the internet, so it must be true.
It's true. Also, Jade Finch Scene just joined in
Oh,
from
Jade Finch
Starbase,
scene.
Texas.
Hey, it's been a while. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Yes, if you're watching this video, please click that like button right now. I always forget to do it. So
Oh,
if
we have a
you're...
pling. There's the DarthBob.
There we go. And if
What's going on, fellas?
you are not subscribed, well, if you're commenting in the chat, we know you're subscribed, so thank you very much. But if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel for fun streams and a new How to Sculpt video this Saturday. How to Sculpt Brains. Look forward to it.
Oh, Bob.
Yep.
Howdy, Bob. How's it going?
Oh, I can't complain. Just got back. Well, actually, I can't complain because I just got back from 2-week vacation, and now I'm having to go back to the real world, which is, I feel like I need a vacation from my vacation now.
We already made that joke. Will
Oh,
said
yeah.
the same thing. Oh, wait, I haven't said that
Hey,
yet.
man.
Oh, man, I just got back. I think I need a vacation for my vacation.
Hey, man, it's an evergreen comment, so whatever.
That's true. Good point.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, God, Nivea everywhere.
Nivea everywhere. That means you'll always be good for sculpting.
Yeah. Nothing will stick. Over the time, I forgot to throw out that I really like the idea of at least 2 Gene Stealer Patriarchs, like Marco has commissioned you and Simon.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the scale, I mean, even Earth is not that big of a planet. And then you have to think, oh yeah, there's one Gene Stealer infestation, and that is enough to call in the High Fleet, which is all right with me. But just go up the scale. There is an or more unimaginable huge planets. There can be several infestations. Gene Stealers can travel with several train systems or shuttles into all continents of a planet and start new broods with a new brood lore just to enhance the signal for the sake of the lore. And the one patriarch that rules them all, it did not always sit right with me.
Yeah. No,
Like
hey,
think of it like a franchise.
I just had a wild
Oh.
idea. What if like we get a mouse strain patriarch? How cool would that be?
I think it's inevitable, to be honest.
That would be amazing.
Probably.
Oh, DarthBob, what do you think of the mouse strain coalescence that they showed? That weird body horror flesh sack thing.
It's the thing meets Tyranids, so
Sounds
yeah,
delicious.
it's a yes from me.
Yes for me as well. And what do you think of the gene stealers in general? I don't know if we ever talked about this.
I love them. I've kind of been trying to do something similar with my weird Tyranid
Oh, your
mutant
triptych?
stuff. Yeah, so like weird, non-standardized looking Tyranids. I'm all for it. More, please, more.
Sweet. Awesome. And what did you think of the Benefictus model, the new Gene Stealer cult character with the weird brain on his back?
I think he is cool, but I would like to see it with a different paint job because I think the paint job's not doing it any favors.
Yeah.
I definitely think that it was the weakest of the reveals that day in terms of Tyranity stuff.
Yep. Get behind that. Sweet. Yeah. So, what else did we do? Oh, before you got here, we did an unboxing. I got a gaunt from High Fleet Hyper, and I got the cool clockwork whatever Von Ryan's Leaper from Illogic.
Oh, I am not familiar.
Oh, you gotta check out Illogic. He's doing all kinds of clockwork stuff, and it's fantastic. Yeah, and then I was gonna go into travel stuff, but I was gonna wait till you got here because you had travel stuff to get into as well.
Yes.
But now
yes,
I've
I do.
gotten into sculpting, so I don't really
Yeah,
know.
sorry. I was thinking I was gonna be more like 8, and then it ended up being like 8:20. So
It's fine.
my bad.
Oh, I'm glad you could join. Do you want to start off by
blame
talking
the
about your
fifth
travel
member.
stuff? What have you been up to?
So yeah, we went on a road trip to the Pacific Northwest, which was a lot of fun. We started in Seattle and kind of worked our way down the coast, hitting up a bunch of different natural wonders along the way.
Yeah.
Saw the because last year we went on a road trip that was similar, but it was like much bigger and a lot more that's the word I'm looking for. Extreme. Like it was 10,000 miles in 18 days. So this one was a
10,000
lot.
miles. Good golly.
Yeah. So this one was a lot more focused on just one region rather than the entire country.
Good.
So we got to see like the temperate rainforest in Washington. We went whale watching. Saw a really cool humpback whale. Saw a bunch of like seals and sea lions along the coast, saw the redwood forests and Fern Canyon, which is where they filmed some of Jurassic Park: The Lost World.
Oh. Nice.
And I think I guess the most eventful part of the vacation was I got engaged.
Yo,
So
I saw that coming a second before it happened. Congratulations, dude.
yeah, it was pretty magical romantic moment. We were like on top of a fallen redwood tree when I proposed, so it was
Good work.
it was great. It was a great trip.
Congratulations, dude. That's awesome. Exciting news.
It's a mitzvah.
What's that?
Mitzvah. Yiddish term. I believe it's for like celebration.
Oh, is that where bat mitzvah come from?
You know what? I'm gonna look this up because I might just have. Oh no, mitzvah is a good deed done from religious duty. God damn, I am nowhere goddamn close to that. Okay, well, ignore me then. Don't trust me in my Yiddish. Apparently, Jesus. Okay, cool. Nowhere close.
Oh, that's awesome. And I
So,
love
yeah.
Pacific Northwest stuff. I mean, I've only been to the Canadian Pacific. I guess it's Southwest for us, but yeah, it's damn cool. Love it out there. I described it
Yeah, I've
once as
only been there
rotten with
twice.
life.
I've only been there twice, and like the past 2 times I've gone, I'm like, I want to live out here. Like, I love the weather, the scenery, and everything is gorgeous. It's a lot slower. It's a lot slower. It seems like how people live out there. It's very fast paced out here, just because surrounded by so many major metropolitan areas. There's not a lot of nature and just opportunities to just like
You guys drove all the way
slow
across?
down. Say again?
You drove all the way across?
No, so we flew into Seattle, got a rental car, and then drove like
Smart.
across Washington and then down like the 101 and the 1, which is the coastal highway going down California and Oregon.
Nice. Cool.
So it was about 2 weeks, but it felt a lot better paced because I think there was quite a bit of driving, but it was not nearly as like I think maybe we were kind of primed from the last trip that like 2 hours, 3 hours of driving in a day is like nothing because we were like used to like a good day on the last trip was like 6.5, 7 hours. So,
Yeah.
I
so
remember road trips
yeah,
like that.
I once did a road trip with a buddy in Scotland, and we planned it with North American distances, but we didn't realize we'd be driving on Scottish roads. So we were
It
basically
turns out they were
driving
all
for 8 to 10
kilometers, so
hours a
you're
day.
lost.
What?
It was on kilometers, so you got completely lost.
No, it wasn't that. It was just that like we were like, we can drive this far in a day, right? But that's like we're basing it on highways. So
yeah,
it was too far, and we drove for way too long every day.
yeah. That was also an issue actually with our last road trip, with getting on the 1 and the 101 because we were like, oh, we'll just drive up the Pacific Coastal Highway, it'll be great, and we didn't realize that there are like a good sizable, like probably half, maybe a little more than that of that highway is just like ridiculous curves where you have to slow down to like 25,
Oh,
30 miles an hour.
yeah,
And
that
it's
was
like
us on
it's
little
just
tiny
curve after
Scottish
curve
back
after curve.
roads. It was a bad move.
Yeah, so like distance wise it seems doable, but then when you realize like a good chunk of it you're having to drive 30 miles an hour, it suddenly becomes a lot more daunting and you
Yep.
you cover a lot less ground in a lot less time than you would have thought.
Yep. I feel
My
that.
biggest takeaway from this trip is that if you are ever on the Pacific Northwest and you see advertisements for this thing called the Sea Lion Caves, don't go. Don't go to the Sea Lion Caves. It's a
No?
tourist trap. Don't go.
Oh man, I want to go
Yes,
because
it is. It is technically the biggest coastal cave in the United States. So like if you're really into caves, sure, but if you're expected to go in there and see a ton of sea lions like inside the giant cave, they're only there like certain periods of the year. So
yeah,
like and that's in like the winter seasons where they're trying to keep warm. And the people who sell you the $29 ticket don't tell you that.
$29 ticket.
So you just go down there and there's okay, here's a cool cave, but there's no sea lions. Oh, you want to see the sea lions? Oh, well, there's a little overlook spot where you could pay 50 cents to look through some shitty binoculars that haven't been replaced in 37 years, and see the tiny little itty bitty silhouettes of the sea lions from like a quarter of a mile away. So
Wow.
As the good Lord intended, okay?
Having been obsessed with Neil Gaiman's American Gods, I still want to do it.
is the sea
The
lion
seal
caves
cave?
in
No,
American
but he
Gods?
talks about House on Rock,
Oh.
which is like a famous tourist trap in the States.
Yeah,
Can't remember
I
what it
just
is.
was like, we just like driving down the coast, there would be random beaches where they would just be laying on the beach. So we like saw hilariously more seals and sea lions than we ever saw at the actual place. We spent like $60 to specifically go see seals and sea lions.
Yeah.
Like we were at an Airbnb, which was pretty cool. It was like right by the ocean. And like when we got to the Airbnb, I just we were like carrying our bags in, and I just stopped because I kept hearing this weird noise. I thought it was a dog. No, they were just literally sea lions on the beach going arf arf arf. It's like
Cool.
I had no idea. I don't know why I didn't expect them to literally make that noise, but they do. I'd never seen a sea lion like in person before this
I don't
trip,
think I
so
have.
I think I saw
I guess I was
the
just not expecting it to be quite literally arf arf
You were
arf.
expecting it to be a sea lion, not a sea dog.
Yes.
I saw some of the sea lions over in, or are they seals over in San Francisco? As like
Mhm.
the wharf over there literally just has a bunch of these fat seals, sea lions, just everywhere, just wherever they want to go because they're really large and they're just gonna go where they want to go.
Yeah, you don't realize how big they are until like we went when we were whale watching. We stopped in on one of the islands, and there was like a whale museum, and the whale museum had like a bunch of information about like orcas and humpbacks, but it also had small exhibit about seals and sea lions, and they have like sea lion skulls, and the skulls are huge. They're like I don't know what metric to use to measure them, but like they're approaching the size of like an engine. They're
An
huge.
engine?
Yeah,
Oh
they're
God.
gigantic. I
Larger
was
than
not
human
expecting them
size.
because you don't see them that close up because they like when you're at like even at the beaches the park service knows where they like to gather, so they set up barricades and stuff so you don't get too close. Um, but they're
Kind of like
freaking huge.
kind of like seeing a bison for the first time because when I was driving through Yellowstone National Park, I was going through a bunch of switchback roads because that's all you get around there. And I was like, why is this car in front of me so slow? And then as we slowly kept going down, a bison was walking along, ambling really down the street on the other side. And I'm like, yep, this guy is a lot bigger than my Honda Civic. I'm
Yeah.
gonna not do anything to make this guy agitated because I am on the side of the road close to the cliff. So
Yeah, because last year we did see elephant seals, and elephant seals are actually even bigger, but they just make like weird belching noises. They don't like make the typical seal noises. So I was just really surprised to hear the sea lions making these very almost cartoonish sounds.
Yeah.
But we also saw harbor seals, and the harbor seals are a lot smaller, and they're also a lot cuter.
I think they're the
I'll
ones
have
that
to
I've
see if I
seen.
can. I'll have to see if I can get the video because there we took a video of one little baby one that was just kind of flopping up the beach.
Nice.
So it was cool. We got to see a lot of really cool nature and just kind of kick back. It was a lot. It was a lot more slow paced, which I definitely argued a lot with my then girlfriend, now fiance, about how this trip is just like I'm not able to enjoy anything because like everything's just going so fast. But this trip felt a lot more doable and a lot more reasonable.
Fantastic. Glad you guys made that realization. We kind of had a bit of that. So like, I'm gonna talk about going to Nottingham, but before that, Nora and I went to France, and I feel like our first days in France were a lot more chill. Like, we let ourselves get up late. We'd like drive into town, see some stuff, come home, make our own dinner. Don't worry about like going out every night. So it was pretty chill, which was good because when we got to England and we were staying with her cousin, it was very go 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 go. Like she had planned stuff for us like every day.
Yeah, I like something in between. Like I'm not one of those people that likes to just go on vacation and then sit in the hotel the whole time. But
Yeah,
I'm also
like
not one of those people that wants to inundate my trip to the point that like it feels like I have like it feels like a job. It
yeah,
feels like I've got a specific list of things that my boss, aka my fiance, has assigned me to do on this
yeah.
trip. I'd rather just have the time to enjoy myself, as well as see things, because you do want to you never know when you're
Relax.
going to be back
It's
there
a
again.
vacation.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm down with having a little bit. Like you'll never catch me on a beach because I'm tasty.
Mhm.
But I don't want to just like sit on a beach all day. I want to take it easy, see some stuff, but not go crazy.
Right.
Yeah. So I think we nailed that. Yeah, we went. I was in France for a week for a wedding, friends of ours in Provence, which was very romantic and very cool. And they got like a villa up on a mountain with like olive groves and stuff. It was basically straight out of a movie, which is cool. But
That is
before
cool.
that, we did some exploring in around the like near Marseille in the south of France, Provence area, and it was really cool. I'd never been to that part of France before. Very arid, not as like lush and green as other parts of France I've been to. But apparently, when we'd been there, they'd had a lot of rain, so it was like more lush than it normally is. It was interesting. Um, and damn it, there was something you said, Bob, that I made me think of something. Oh, when you're talking about like the seals and like paying entry to like see the seals or whatever. Nora had never been horseback riding, so we went horseback riding for her birthday. And on the horseback ride, it was like, oh yeah, you will see flamingos and you will see bulls because we like raise bulls in this area and there's all these flamingos. And we like saw like a few flamingos. They weren't that close or anything. But then afterwards we went to like this bird sanctuary and it was just like rotten with flamingos. Like there was so many flamingos. It was amazing.
Yeah, I feel like even like we got really lucky with the whale watching, because like with whale watching, this
could see
particular
nothing,
place
right?
like guarantees seeing whales, and if you don't see whales, they give you your money back, or they'll let you go on a free ride the next day.
Oh really? That's
Um,
cool.
but like a lot of the whale watching that they see, like the whales that they see, it's generally like, oh look, there's a whale, and then it's just like kind of like,
Right.
you see its back for a second, and then you don't see any more
And they're
whales
like,
for the
pay
rest of
up.
the trip. Yeah, but this was pretty cool because like this humpback whale was like, it didn't jump out of the water or anything, but it was like, it was basically maybe, I'd say it hovered between 350 feet from the boat, just kind
Whoa.
of like swimming alongside our boat for like a good 20 minutes. So
Wow.
we got to see,
Lucky.
and we got to see its like tail go up out of the water. It was pretty cool.
I read
Was
a
a little
weird
disappointed we didn't get to see any orcas,
I
but
read a weird whale book one time and I learned that that's called a fluke.
yes, that is. I knew that before, but like I had forgotten that that's what they were called. And then the pilot was like, "Oh, there's the fluke," and I'm like, "What is a fluke?"
Cool. No, I don't think I've ever been whale watching. Gonna do that.
I'm trying to see if I can find the video.
Okay, maybe I can
posted
do
on
like a hybrid thing here because I prepared a little photo slideshow of um. Realize this is not. There we go. Now we can see Will. Got Will's video up, but I didn't have the little chatty thing. Discord, why are you so fail? There we go. Okay, good enough. All right, so yeah, and while I was in the UK, I managed to make it to Warhammer World, which was pretty cool. And I got to take Nora to Warhammer World, which is cool because I wanted to show her the like museum and all that stuff there. And it was just really convenient that her family actually lives in Nottingham, which was unexpected. So yeah, it was pretty easy to do. I'd been to Warhammer World once before, 17 years ago, in 2017, I guess it was. At that time, I went with Hydra and Hive Fleet Moloch. And weirdly, it was like 17 years to the day. Like, I had arrived in Warhammer World on June 8th, 2007. And then this time I arrived on like June 7th, 2024. So that was weird. But it was pretty cool. And they'd definitely done a lot more with the place since I'd been there last. So it felt like a whole new visit. Like the museum was barely, I don't even know if it was really there the first time I went. I think they just had some display cases out. Anyway, so here is me with our good friend of the stream, Tom Wilson, who came all the way down from Liverpool to hang out. And he actually hung out with me for 2 days while we were doing all kinds of dork touring. So on the first day, we went to Warhammer World, and on the second day we did the Old Hammer World, which I will talk more about in a second, which was damn cool. But yeah, so the obvious thing, this is us in Bugman's. This is a joke. I don't know if this is a joke from Creature Conference, but I always say how I want more tea. And the British dudes were like, oh, you need a Sports Direct mug. I'm like, what's a Sports Direct mug? This is a 20-ounce mug. It is massive. And for some reason, Tom bought me 2 of these because he thought I needed such a large mug that I was going to be double fisting these massive things. Unfortunately, I couldn't bring them both home because luggage. So one of them is waiting for me in England, but I managed to get one home. So very kind of him to bring that along. Here is the iconic Timothy McVeigh diorama of Deathwing versus Gene Stealers. This is in the museum. It was so cool to see it.
As
that's
an
so
American, this is it actually Tim McVeigh? Is that the actual name? Oh, that's an awkward, unfortunate.
No,
name.
wait. No, fuck, I'm an idiot. Sorry. Oh god. Mike McVeigh.
Okay.
Sorry.
No.
Oh my lord.
Oh,
that was
no.
bad. That was a weird Freudian slip.
That's-
Mike McVeigh.
For non-Americans out there, Tim McVeigh was the Oklahoma City bomber.
We know about him in Canada too. That was dumb. Sorry. Oh wow.
I was like, wait,
Mike-
that doesn't sound right. Jesus.
Mike McVeigh.
You have to separate the art from the artist.
Oh my god. So Mike McVeigh, former Games Workshop artist, now runs McVeigh Studios. Did a whole bunch of cool dioramas. This is one of his cool dioramas with Deathwing Terminators versus Gene Stealers. Here is Tyranid Attack and Doom of the Eldar in the museum there. I was so happy to see these. These are classics of Tyranid history that I feel like we don't talk about enough.
Crotch beak.
What's that?
Yep.
Crotch beak.
Got a crotch beak there. Oh, don't worry. There will be more crotch beaks in this presentation.
Hooray!
Trust you, me.
And he's not talking about Tyranids.
What's that?
Nothing. It's just a very sophomoric joke. Don't mind me.
Yeah, I love me some crotch beaks. And then what do we got? Oh man, I love this. This is OCR Bone Reaper's castle they have there. And like the courtyard is actually in the middle, and then this is a central display, and you can walk all around, and they have all these cutouts for the little rooms in the castle.
Oh, neat.
Which is really amazing. But Nagash is not in it, which is weird. I kept looking for
That
Nagash.
is weird.
God, I hope they have the original one, just for like the lol.
Oh, that'd be
Yeah.
funny if they hid the original one
He's
in there
hiding
somewhere.
there somewhere.
I did not see it, but it could have been hiding in there somewhere. Yeah, so this was one of my favorite pieces, and I love these like weird bony heads above the gates. It needs to be a kit, but it's not. And it makes me so sad. Oh, here's
Looks
me
like
and
they
Tom.
probably made it and then cast it.
Yeah, they probably did. Like, because Grim and Gribbly used to work in Warhammer World, and he said that they do like a lot of their own casting for like the terrain and stuff. Like that was the area that he worked in. So they probably cast it, which is sad because it means we're never gonna see it. But
Maybe
no
some
doubt.
unreleased seller will sell one day.
That'd be cool. If they ever break down this castle, sell them off.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point. Maybe they'll come up on the unreleased thing. Okay, you got to watch for it. If you see it, man, you let me know. Because you've got your finger on that pulse.
Yeah, I'll contact Steve Casey. Maybe he can
Good man.
ruffle a few.
Oh, this is
old guys in
the huge Tyranid display that they redid recently to add in the new Tyranids in the museum. It was pretty damn cool. That's me and Tom doing the Warp Shadow Salute with it. Oh, okay. So that was Warhammer World. That was the first day. Oh, I forgot to put a picture in here. I met James Taro from Taro's Workshop. Is it Taro's Models? I don't know.
Taro Model Maker.
Thank you, Taro Model Maker. He was super chill, dude. He was super nice. He came and hung out with us on the Thursday. Abducted my wife and drove her into town because she needed to leave, while me and Tom continued to hang out at Warhammer World. So, yeah, he was a super chill dude. And then on the Friday, it was a totally separate tour. So the Still Tower, Pablo, if you're familiar with the Still Tower, he offered Hydra a tour of like non-Games Workshop cool stuff in Warhammer, in Nottingham, that has to do with like miniatures and stuff like that. Hydra was not able to make it, but Hydra was like, hey, you should contact Still Tower. Maybe he'll take you for a tour. So he very generously did take me for a tour on the Friday. And we started off at TSN Arena, which is where the Jugs kids are based. So that's where like Savage Orc Guy, Louise Smudgeon, and Honest Wargamer Rob are based. So this is just us downstairs. They have a giant one of the Rascaltown goblins. Just greets you when you come in there. I think this is from their booth or whatever that they had created. And the reason that we had went there was to meet Ramshackle Games, otherwise known as Curtis. So dude in the back there with the orange sweater, that's Curtis. He's the owner proprietor of Ramshackle Games. And I didn't really know much about Ramshackle before we did this tour, but he basically will cast anything. Like if you send him something, he'll cast it for you. And like the only catch is he's like, he'll cast it as long as like you let him have it in his store as well. I'm sure he'll do other versions where like he'll cast it for you and not stock it in his store, but that's kind of like the agreement that he's made with people, just because he wants to help people like get their stuff out there. And he had all kinds of wild and interesting things that he was casting. That we got to see some Anna Polanska Gardens of Hecate greens that he was working on, which was really cool. And one of the iconic things that Curtis does is that oh god, they're not called gates, but like tabs on his models, he like makes them into scenery. So you know how you get those like some Forge World casts and they have like this like tab on it that's just like a bunch of resin from the mold. You just crack that off. So he does it so that those things are actual like barricades and scenery that you can use. And it was really cool to see the ones that Anna had on her models that he was casting for her. All these like cool greeblies that she'd put together for them. And yeah, he's got a it's a bit of a what's the word I'm looking for? Mad Scientist library, Mad Scientist workshop. This is not his casting room that we're sitting in. His casting room stinks of fiberglass and there's resin everywhere, but it was really cool to see. But like most of the models in this room are like things that he's cast or painted, so it was really impressive to see his operation. And then the dude beside him in the green shirt, that's Pablo, that's Still Tower, who was our tour guide. And he does lino cut prints. So you may have seen, he's done some Tyranid lino cuts that I've shown before, like Gene Sealer 1, Patriarch 1. There's a Gaunt with a Strangle Web that he's done. But he's also got like his own Patreon now where he's doing all kinds of demon lino cuts based on like classic demons, like, I don't know, oh god, Behemoth and stuff like that. Behemoth. Yeah, so he's a super chill dude, and he like just spent the whole day with us, and he took us pretty far afield, so we really appreciated it. And then of course Tom Wilson is beside Curtis there, and then just kind of like to the left of Curtis and below him, that's Bits of Box, who's throwing up the Peace Science. So he came in on the Friday. And then of course the dude who's taking the picture with the hat and the beard, that's Grim and Gribbly, Alistair.
Yeah.
So yep. Grim and Bits of Box, or Box I should just say, came down on the Friday to hang out with us, and it was really, really great. So yeah, we started off here at the workshop. We came back later at the end of the day, and we actually met Louise and Rob upstairs, but they were kind of in the middle of stuff, and we chatted them up for a bit, and then we took off. Yeah, so this was the workshop, and then from there, not Curtis. Oh wait, I think there's another picture. And then in this workshop, they've got all these wild, different kind of miniature adjacent people who hang out there or work there. And this dude is Googly Eyed Skull. I think he goes by Monk. And he was a really awesome dude who has a background in film, but now he's like kind of working on miniature stuff in their magical studio there. And him and I had some kind of like disagreement in Instagram messages a while back, and like I had totally forgotten about it, and he just kind of mentioned it. I'm like, oh dude, I'm really sorry. Like you're totally chill dude. Like I didn't get any sense of like tone or whatever in our exchange online. He's like, oh, that's okay. And this is us bearing the hatchet from our weird Instagram beef from miscommunication. He was a really cool guy, but yeah, so that's that. And then okay, so then Pablo takes us down to the bus station in Nottingham, puts us on a bus, and we ride a bus like 50 minutes, maybe an hour, outside of Nottingham to this place. I think it was called like East Stoke or something like that. And so this is us with like a little field with sheep in it, walking down this country lane. Who knows where? We didn't know if he was like taking us somewhere to dump our bodies. But where he took us to was Foundry, Wargames Foundry. I was, again, not as familiar with Wargames Foundry as I should have been. This looks like a weird castle kind of place. And if you're not familiar, these are the stables behind the mansion of Brian Ansell. So Brian Ansell, who is one of the, like, he was like the CEO of Games Workshop, through like the kind of, I think through the like second edition, maybe into third edition, kind of like classic old Hammer period. Yeah, he like led Games Workshop for a while. He actually died, was it earlier this year or was it late last year? He died recently.
Sometime in the last like year and a half or so.
Yeah, I think it was like within the last like 6 to 8 months. But yeah, he had been integral to like Games Workshop's development at a very key time when people of my generation were kind of coming into the hobby, getting into it. So, and then what happened is that he left Games Workshop, and I guess he got bought out or something like that. And then he took his earnings from getting bought out, bought a mansion in this like idyllic countryside, and then decided to turn the stables for his mansion into another miniature company, which is Wargames Foundry. So Wargames Foundry actually has old Games Workshop miniatures that they're like very early games. They call them Citadel. They don't call them Games Workshop. Very early Citadel models that they have the rights to recast. Like well, not recast, to cast. Like Judge Dredd, when Citadel was doing like the Judge Dredd miniatures, they have the Judge Dredd miniatures there. I actually bought some of them. And weird things like Citadel Ninjas. So yeah, this is the really cool entrance to the Wargames Foundry, and it's all inside these stable buildings. And in addition to their own products, they have, it looks like Brian Ansell, when he left Games Workshop, just took the entire old Hammer catalog of painted miniatures, and they're just arrayed in all these different cases. Like you're walking through the shop and you're like looking at their miniatures, and then you're also looking at these cases of all this like ancient Games Workshop history, and it was really cool. Like here we have the much talked about on my streams Protonid. So a painted one of the Protonids.
Yes.
Was that?
I said, yes.
Yeah, so that's there. They've got so those are some Hunter Seekers in front of it. This was wild. I said we're gonna come back to Crossbeaks. There's a converted plastic Tyranid warrior there that I have never seen before, and I really like the conversion. It was just in one of the cases. So they removed one of the body sections. I've got another.
But basically turned into like a more modern
yeah
warrior.
So turn it into like a more modern Tyranid warrior. That's a really good observation. And I don't know, I just thought this was really cool, and I don't know why I had never seen this before. Maybe it showed up in a white a white dwarf, or maybe it was just part of his collection.
Yeah, he had a pretty substantial private collection. I mean, the unreleased Ymgar LG sealer was from Brian's collection. So yeah, he has a lot of stuff that I don't think have ever been like publicly shown on any like white dwarves or anything.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that I learned when I was there, that his family, though he died, his family is still running Wargames Foundry. And right now, though it's in like this cool stable building at the back of Brian Ansell's house, they're looking to sell the house So they're looking to move War Games Foundry to a new location. And they said that one of the goals of moving to a new location is to have proper space to be able to display more of Brian's collection, which I was super excited by, because like even the small amount of his collection that was in this. Oh, I want to show you this, Bob, because this reminds me kind of your, not really, but your brother's Slaneshi Knight. There's a weird
Oh yeah,
tape
I can
thing on
see it.
this. I don't know. What's that?
I can see it.
Yeah.
I can see it. I totally see what you mean.
Um,
Actually, one of the pictures you posted on the Discord of some of Brian's Gene Stealer cult stuff reminded me that actually after Brian died, Jason Lai, who was the guy who sold me the unreleased collection, he actually worked with a sculptor to get one of the conversions that he had done made into like a fan sculpt.
yeah.
It's the particular you had taken a picture of it and it just
Oh, I think I
reminded
have
me
it.
of it.
The guy with the knife?
Yes, the
I've
the
got
guy with
it.
the big sword.
So, yeah, so we've got like this stuff. We've got, I really like this weird Zinchi sorcerer dude. It looks like a conversion with pink horror hands. Oh, here, somebody, I can't remember who it was. I think it was probably Tom Wilson trolling me. He's like, hey, Nick, they've got a dominatrix in here. And I was like, they've got a dominatrix? And it was a box of dominatrixes that women of powerful disposition. It's trolling me.
I like the flame background.
Yeah, they had some good backgrounds in there. This is a model of Brian Ansel as like a, oh, hold on. Brian Ansel is like a giant. You can see him there with the Foundry jersey on. That was kind of cute. I don't know
looks
if
a
this
little
was
bit
ever
like
released
Ringo.
or whatever, but this, okay, so if you look in this cupboard is the cupboard that I would want to take home. I mean, there are some Space Marines top left, but the top shelf is all old Eldar. I can't remember if the Harlequins are in there. I think the Harlequins are on the next shelf down on the right. But then they've got a bunch of Gene Stealer cult on these two shelves. They've got the limos in there. And then down below, I think it's more kind of chaos stuff, but God, it was so good. So here's the
Yeah,
Patriarch.
that reminds me.
What's that?
That reminds me. I recently, one of the few hobby things that I've actually done this recently is pick up a copy of that seated Patriarch with the Whispering Magus.
Oh, amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm pretty chuffed about it.
I think I'm pretty sure I have one. I think Bob helped me get it.
Yes, I think I recall that as well. Yeah, I have one in the package still. I'm waiting for the day where I have the will to finally build them up.
Mine is in the weird old package. It's in like this hard plastic, like it seems like it feels like a theft proof case or something. But I
Yep,
think it was
that's
how
the
they
one I
used to
have too.
package them.
Oh,
Yeah, I have that one too. It's pretty
I
cool.
don't mine didn't even come in packaging. But actually, one of the interesting things, and it kind of draws us back to the earlier discussion of the mouse strain coalescence, is that the seat of the Gene Stealer Patriarch actually has a Chaos Star on it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes. They used to be
little
there used
more
to be
told.
like Chaos Gene Stealers, because this was when these came out, that it was before Tyranids were a thing. So
Yeah, that's the link that I sometimes forget, that Gene Stealers were a chaos thing to begin with. And then I feel like it was the Andy Chambers interview on Throne of Command. I always get the name of the podcast wrong, where he talked about how like when they came out with Tyranids, they just were kind of scrambling to find any existing models they had that could like retcon as a Tyranid model. I guess that's how the Gene Stealers wound up as being Tyranid. And like the squigs and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, so there's the Patriarch. There's the sword guy in the front with his yellow cloak. Beside the guy with the autogun, between the two guys with the autoguns, and the limo. And I love that the limo has like a cityscape painted on the glass there, as if it's like reflected in the glass. I think that's pretty cool.
Oh no, that's not that. That's actually not the one I was talking about. You did take a picture of him though. I'm hoping it's the slideshow's in here somewhere. That's the Bob Ollie, the
Okay,
unreleased.
then I don't know that he's
Actually.
in here. Because wait, is he the guy who looked very chaos?
Yeah, he's like. Hold on, let me see if I can find the picture. Yeah, he's like standing up, but he's got a sword in one hand and he's got like a gun in the other hand. He's got like a red and gold
And
armor.
you've described so many
Yeah,
old
yeah.
80s, 90s VW models right there.
I think I know the one you're talking about. Let me go see if I can find the picture. I don't have all my pictures. Oh, here we go. Oh, that was a. Whoa, they did a fan sculpt of that guy?
Yes.
Hold on a sec.
I have not gotten a hold of it yet, but I want to.
I don't want you to, too. Pull it up here. Man, I mixed up way too much green stuff for what I'm doing. Oh well.
As it is tradition.
That's right.
That is the way.
So yeah, what I would say is that if you go to Nottingham, yeah, you're gonna go see like Games Workshop, whatever, it's cool. But you really need to go and check out like the old Hammer history. You got to go to Warhammer World, and you also got to go to Old Hammer World. And I think Foundry, Wargames Foundry, is a good place to see it. If you have the ability, Wargames Foundry is having an event in August. It's sometimes called Bring Out Your Lead. When I was there, the staff were referring to it as Old Hammer. So yeah, and this August, I think the first weekend in August, second, third weekend or whatever, is going to be the final Bring Out Your Lead at the Ansel estate, mansion, whatever. After that, they're going to try and find a new location to move to. So who knows? Maybe they don't find a location. Maybe they're still there. But it's likely going to be the final time there. So if you want to like experience like the classic Wargames Foundry experience, think about going to Bring Out Your Lead in August of this year. But they'll probably continue it at the new location. So it's not like you're going to like miss it if you don't go. But here's the guy.
Yeah, there he is.
Oh, I missed him. I kind of dismissed him as like, oh, he's just some chaos dude. But no, he's definitely a Gene Stealer cultist. That's really cool.
Yeah, you'll notice a lot of the Gene Stealer cultists have like chaos symbols painted all over them.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's that. Let's get rid of this. I think I have a couple more pictures. Where oh shit. Did I delete my slideshow? Yeah, get rid of that. Yes.
Clicking Control Z. Control Z at all.
Yeah, that's what I tried. Here's some cool Gene Stealer hybrids, which I really like. They're fun. Oh, here's the crew of us who went to Wargames Foundry. So that cabinet right behind my head, that's where all the like Eldar Gene Stealers are. But you can see on the left, like beside box, there's like racks of normal product there. And it was just such a cool place. I really enjoyed it. Oh, and then the other thing that I wanted to mention in relation to this trip is that part of the reason I went to Warhammer World was that I took some of my miniatures with me. This was a bit of a kerfuffle where I was planning to bring these miniatures, but I had to go on 4 different planes between like Canada and moving my finger in something I sculpted. Great. I had to go on 4 different planes between Canada and Nottingham, so I wasn't about to bring like this big case of miniatures with me on those planes. So I decided that what I was going to do is be smart and ship it to myself in Nottingham. We'll ship it more exactly to Nora's family so that they could receive it for me, and then it would be there in Nottingham when I got there. But I packaged it up all nicely. I used like a bunch of bubble wrap. I put it in a box. And Customs tore it open. They opened up my case. They took all the stuff out of it. They shoved it all back in there with no real concern for how it was meant to go in there. So fortunately, not as much of it was damaged as I was fearful of when I got it and realized that though it was back in the cardboard box, there was tape all over it that said "Opened by Customs," and the latches on the case were not closed because they just crammed stuff in there and couldn't close it again. So that was annoying, but not too bad. This is actually a picture of me like on the way back, because on the way back I'm like, no friggin' way am I shipping this again. A, because it's expensive, and B, because I don't want to have my models destroyed. So I elected to check it because it was just one flight back from Nottingham to Toronto. And I checked it on Air Transat, and I was worried that they were going to destroy it, and it came out absolutely perfect. I have nothing but praise for Air Transat. Very impressed. But the reason that I brought my miniatures with me to Nottingham was I set up a meeting with Dan over here on the left, White Dwarf editor, Adam, the dude in the hat, White Dwarf photographer, and I didn't even realize that he was there. The guy in between them with the beard is it Paolo Fabiani? God, I always screw that. I have a thing where I get Pablo and Paolo mixed up. So he is the designer of the Tyranid Hormigons.
Oh wow.
So he came out and he was looking at my miniatures, and I didn't even know he was there. I was so busy like talking to Dan and Adam about them. And Nora took these pictures. And I'm like, who's that other guy? She's like, you didn't see the other guy? I'm like, I didn't even know there was another guy out looking at them. And then like I looked at his name tag because they were all wearing name tags, and it was, yeah, one of the Tyranid designers looking at my Tyranids, and I was completely oblivious because I'm an idiot. So that was cool. But the deal here was that they took the miniatures to be photographed for White Dwarf.
Neat.
Yeah,
Nice.
so I got to get my whole Tyranid display with the crash spore pod and a bunch of my models all photographed, and ideally they're going to be showing up in White Dwarf someday.
Very cool.
Yeah. That was kind of fun.
I mean, absolutely horrifying with the customs thing. On like that's like an absolute nightmare in my opinion. But
Well, the best part of that was that Nora's family is super sweet, and her one cousin, he's super handy, and I shipped it to his house, and then he was like, the first night he came over and we all had dinner together, and I opened it up and I was kind of like horrified to find out that they didn't put it back in there properly. And he like immediately jumped into action, went into his car, drove back to his house, came back, was like, here, I brought you a glue gun, I brought you this, I brought you that, I brought you the other thing, so you can fix your stuff. And he was super kind, and that was very helpful in the repair process. But in the end of the day, it was just the hardest thing to repair was the backing for the display, because they just like snapped it off the kind of kickstand that I built for it. So in this picture, you can see the spore. You can see the spore on the right-hand side, and then you can see the back of the thing. It's just masonite hardboard, and there's like those diagonal pieces. The vertical part of the display and the diagonal pieces were completely snapped off. So fortunately, the kickstand that I put at the back was still intact. So I just had to do a buttload of wood glue and hot glue to get it all back together. But it worked, and it survived long enough to get to Warhammer World and for them to take it and do the photography stuff, so that was good.
was it just the board that got damaged?
No, it was a bunch of, there was like 6 or 8 miniatures that got damaged, but fortunately I was able to repair them with super glue. And it's also the case that it was a lesson in pinning, because I obsessively pin my models, and the damage, it was actually in places where they had like, it had snapped at a pin, but the pin was still there, so I could kind of like reattach it by just like slotting the pin into the hole that was already, like I didn't have to repin anything. I just dumped a bunch of Gorilla Glue on and slotted the pin back into the hole that it had snapped around, and it worked. And it was mostly my Standigants. Like it was because the legs on those Termagants are not very sturdy because they're old plastic and they weren't ever made to be upright. They were made to have like a third point holding them up as well. So, kind of my fault, but whatever.
Customs and the TSA, the only 2 organizations that can get away with property theft or property damage.
Yeah,
rather, or theft, both actually.
good point. So I guess I could have pursued something, but nothing was like irreparably damaged, so I just said to hell with it. Oh, and I had to pay customs. I had to pay duty on my own stuff. The lady at the UPS store where I shipped it from, she tried to be really helpful. She tried to like declare it as my own property, but they still charged me duty on it because they're dicks. I might have been able to claim that back, but I don't know. But at the end of the day, it made it. It made it to Games Workshop in one piece. Got to have a good chat with Dan. He was really amazing. He was the one who I'd been coordinating with this whole thing, to see if I could have my stuff photographed. So I really appreciate him for taking the time to coordinate all that. And yeah, now we play the waiting game.
Very,
Awesome.
very cool.
Yeah, but the thing I'll say, and like I don't know, I think I might make a video about this, is the myth that Games Workshop is going to randomly come to you and ask to photograph your models. They don't have the resources. They don't have the time for that. Like I basically had to like put the models in their face and be like, "Hey, are these models cool?" And they're like, "Yeah, these are really cool." And I'm like, "Hey, I'm coming to Nottingham. If I bring these models to you, can you photograph them for White Dwarf?" They're like, "Oh, we might be able to." And then like I kind of like pressed it, and they were like, "Yeah, okay, you're coming. Okay, bring them." So once I
Nice.
pressed, they were very great, and they like met me at like the entrance, and they like took me over to Warhammer World, and they like talked to me while I unpacked it all, and they took them away to photograph them. So that was cool. But no one gets discovered by White Dwarf. No one's like, they don't reach out to me.
Who
'cause
was
they don't have
the
resources.
like? Who's the first person you contacted? Like, how did you get in
Dan.
contact with them?
So Dan, the guy on the left there, he is the only writer for White Dwarf, the only writer for the whole magazine. Dan. Dan writes everything. Dan is also the guy who checks the email. So when you send a submission to White Dwarf, like, you know how they have the thing like, send us your models, you're emailing Dan. So off the side of his desk, when he's already trying to write all of White Dwarf, he's also checking the email and for submissions and stuff like that. So he's a very busy guy. So if you ever send something to White Dwarf and you're like, how come they didn't get back to me? It's because it's only Dan.
It's because Dan's busy.
Oh. So basically, if I write an email to them, I know to address Dear Dan.
Yeah,
Dear Dan.
I guess. It used to be a different guy before,
Please put
apparently.
my models in your magazine. Thank you.
Something like that.
I know they're plastic, and not painted, but you know. Throw a brother a bone.
Oh, I tried to get the Dom in there, but they were literally like, it's not painted, we can't feature it. I'm like,
well, the guy painted it, didn't he?
yeah, so I subsequently got pictures of it painted, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Right.
Hopefully. Let's see. Yeah, Charles painted it. Oh, shit. Oh my god, I think I need to stop sculpting. I'm doing the thing where I'm shoving my finger and stuff I was happy with.
Dun dun dun.
Trying to do too much.
Yeah, I haven't done anything hobby related for the last 2 weeks because I've just been traveling the whole time. But
That's good.
I
I didn't do any
come
hobby on my
back
trip.
Well, yeah, but you did hobby related stuff.
Yeah. Tourist hobby related stuff, I guess.
So counts.
Hobby tourism.
Hobby tourism. Have you guys been to Warhammer World ever?
I
I've
have.
never been out of the country.
You've never been out of the country. Oh my.
I have not.
Well, we gotta get you Canada at least.
I think I went in 2010.
2010?
Yeah. It's been a hot minute. I was visiting a friend in I guess Sheffield. And I was like, oh. Like I'm just gonna take a bunch of day trips from here to like all these other places. And get a pilgrimage to Nottingham.
What about you, Symbio?
Yeah.
London was my only visit to the island so far for a weekend.
Okay. London is a very good place to visit, that's for sure. The weird thing is Nottingham is not like kind of. I don't know if it's in the middle of nowhere, but it's not necessarily near a bunch of other tourist stuff that you're going to be going to.
Not really.
It also didn't really seem to be near right by airports. Like I guess there's an East Midlands airport that's kind of close, but didn't seem super convenient from where we were flying from.
I feel like my understanding of the geography of like the UK is probably similar to what most people think of the United States, where they think that you could drive 3 hours and be in Texas from anywhere in the country.
Yeah, it's pretty
Like
long.
I for some reason thought Nottingham was like in London.
I think it's like a 2 to 3 hour drive from London.
Oh, really?
I
Oh,
made the
wow.
mistake of taking a train there during rush hour the first time I went, and it cost me a lot. I think it was like £50 for the ticket. Whereas if I'd waited like an
Jeez.
hour, it would have been like off-peak prices. Was my plan. Like we flew into Manchester, and then Nora's cousin came and picked us up from Manchester Airport. It was a 2 hour drive from Manchester to Nottingham on like a highway.
Dang.
So
Yep, that checks out.
any hoodle. Oh man, I want to keep sculpting because I got green stuff, but it's a bad idea.
Yeah,
Stop.
I was gonna do some extra work on one of the things, and I'm like, you know what? No, I'm gonna ruin the thing that I actually have detail on. So
It's just gonna be swearing profusely.
You could work on something else.
Wait, what's going on in the chat?
Oh yeah.
logging on customs
Yeah.
as is what to do.
Wait. Oh, Dinosly was asking about the unreleased Gene Stealer. I will plug my Insta. Check my Instagram.
Oh man, I wonder if you know how they've been doing all those vehicles for Necromunda?
Yep.
Now that we've got actual like Necromunda Gene Stealer cult models, can we please have a limo?
Please.
I think they've
Probably
been
not
moving
happening
the,
because ash waste is out of the window.
Damn it, you're right. They're going into Secundus. No vehicles in Secundus.
yeah.
Well, I live in hope. Because we never got a Delac vehicle, right? Some people are
I don't
really
think we
mad about
did,
that.
and I think the Delac players have been complaining about that incessantly.
Yeah, well, with good reason. Because it's
Yeah.
gonna be a
Man, have you
limo.
seen those overcoats that they wear? Like, it's just gonna get like in the way of everything.
It's true.
Oh, but that's gonna be the limo. I can feel it.
That's the most unrealistic part of the Matrix is all these people seamlessly getting on motorcycles and stuff with those long ass coats.
Yeah.
I think like they probably feel like they are done with the Ridge Runner.
Oh, like the
yeah.
Gene Stealer Ridge Runner should be enough for us?
Probably.
Bastards. There's rules in
Man, the Ridge
Necromunda for it.
Runners,
Is that what?
Ridge Runners, like the Ridge Runner's a decent thing, but
Oh,
yeah,
it's fine.
it's
No
not
limo.
it's no cult limo.
Oh, I didn't see that Hive Market Mini is here. If anybody will know about Necromunda stuff, Tim.
Oh, High Market Minis. Yeah, I think the reason I know that there's no Delac vehicle is because High Market Minis is pissed.
Yeah, he actually just commented that I am here to complain about my lack of the lack vehicle. It's true.
That is how I know about it.
But if you email that one dude from Games Workshop, maybe he'll hear your complaint.
Just spam Dan.
Dan is too busy
Emails
writing all
about
of
the
White
lack
Dwarf,
of-
man. He doesn't have anything to do with the model creation.
Maybe,
No, but it would be funny.
Maybe it would be like a letters from the community section that he can add.
Where's my vehicle?
It'd just be like those passive aggressive comments that the the Games Workshop Facebook page always gives when people ask about like upcoming models, or they're just like, as soon as we hear anything, we'll be sure to let you know. It's like basically, I'm just the social media guy. I don't know when the new, the new Tyranid models are coming out.
Well, at least they're being honest. All right, so I got some leg stuff in. Not very exciting, but I need to do the events later.
Don't forget about leg day.
Don't skip leg day.
Never forget about leg day.
I feel like the events are a little mismatched left and right, but whatever. Fortunately, you can't ever look at both of them at the same time. Yeah, so, and then I got a big kind of muscular bicep thing in here to fill in the space. This guy's going to be a patriarch, if you missed it earlier. Call him the Thin Man, but he's kind of bulking up, the Thin Man. He's tall, at least. And he's got a big-ass brain on his back, because that's where you should hide your brain. If you like this big-ass brain, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, because I'm going to be having a big-ass tutorial up on Saturday about how I sculpted this brain. So you can learn all about sculpting brains and green stuff.
I would like to learn that because I do like that brain a lot.
Awesome. And then there's going to be another video coming out shortly about converting gene sealers using the new kit. But that is in the final stages of editing. So there's still some work to be done on that, but you can look forward to it soon. I think that I'm probably going to call it. Is there anything else that we should get to in the chat?
A lot of people commenting that they're looking forward to seeing your stuff on White Dwarf.
Me too. I'm hoping that it doesn't somehow get kiboshed, but we'll see.
Do we just lose the YouTube? No.
Oh,
that was
what?
temporary.
Why did the stream drop off?
It
It's
seems to be
still working
back.
for
What's
me.
wrong?
Well,
Oh
maybe,
wait, no, it did stop briefly.
we're definitely fifth member is definitely showing up.
Okay,
As always.
not receiving enough video. What? I didn't do anything.
I'm
on
getting
my
it
end.
now. It's working now for me.
Working now? Okay, maybe that's the sign. Maybe that's the sign that we should call it.
Just a quick side note, I really like your use of the Catacross back spider thing for all the back detailing on the
Oh, thanks.
picture.
Yeah, I was going to use it more like standard, but then I chopped it all up. And it worked really well for this weird cage. I feel like I thought I'd seen a cage like this on a Roberto Cirillo sketch. And then I went and actually looked at the sketches, and it wasn't exactly like this. But I don't know. Thanks. And it worked really well for like his weird little dumpy tail.
I do like that little dumpy tail, but yeah, maybe something else. Although I love that bit. That bit is great. I have that bit lying around.
Use
Just
it.
the little tail piece. I just don't know what to use it for just
Weirding's
yet.
Way would tell you to use it. I've been saving it for way too long.
Oh, I'm not saving
that
it
from?
like because I'm worried about using it. I just literally don't know what to use it on yet. It's a great bit, but like I think it has a very specific application.
That you haven't found yet?
Yeah. Once I find it though, I'm going to use it.
Good.
Wait, which bit is that? Like from?
Sorry?
What bit is that from? That little
Catacross,
tail bit?
the cool boss guy for the Osiark Bone Reapers. He's got like
He's got this weird spider thing on his back.
Yeah, he's got like a spear and a shield. He's got like 3 guys that are like attending him, and he's on like the scenic base. Grim and Gribbly.
I remember when I used that model for a patriarch.
Yeah, Grim and Gribbly used him to make a Nightbringer, I think. It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Really,
I'm still salty
really
about
cool
how
bit.
that model turned out.
Oh, is that the one that got messed up with the paint?
Yeah.
Sorry, dude.
I'm gonna remake it one day. I just don't have it in me to spend the money on the base model again
I understand.
at the moment.
Totally understand that. I still haven't fixed those gene sealers that I stepped on. Those awesome wheelie gene sealers that I was so into. In fact, I think stepping on those gene sealers may have killed my love for the gene sealer cult. I have not yet rediscovered it.
No, yeah, I mean that's a real thing. I feel like that's a hobby phenomena that isn't talked about enough, but like when you severely mess up a model and it just kills your urge to do the hobby for like long periods of time, because that's what happened to me when I messed up the patriarch, because
Yeah.
I worked so hard on that model, and then it just like literally in the last stage, the final stretch, just gotta paint him, just like destroyed. And I was just like, and then I had a lot of other stuff going on at the time, but like on top of everything, it was just like, yeah, I gotta take like a couple months break from the hobby for a little bit.
And that's okay. Taking breaks is okay. Yeah, I've had weird things like that where something sours me on a project and I like just can't look at it anymore.
Yeah, it just pisses you off to look at it.
Anyway. Thank you to everyone for joining in the chat. I feel like we're not on top of chat as much this time as we normally are. Sorry about that. But yeah, I guess we had a lot to talk about. DarthBob, congratulations again on your engagement. That's amazing, buddy. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Yay!
Yeah, thanks guys. Appreciate the well wishes. I'll be sure to let my other half know that she
Let
has
her
the support
know
of the Warp Shadow community.
random weirdos on
These
the
guys
internet.
on the internet.
Random weirdos on the internet are rooting for you guys. Yeah. And Symbio, thank you for being our emergency German.
As the late, tired, can't speak.
It's okay. It's super late. What time is it there?
3 o'clock. 3. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Half past 3.
Thank you for forgoing sleep for us. That's how we really know your love. Is your love language insomnia?
No.
Okay, well, we really appreciate it. Hope you had a good time. I feel like we didn't talk to you that much, but maybe you were falling asleep, so who knows?
People should know by now what my love language is. But yes, it was when I can, when I have the time, I will be the emergency German.
Well, we're always happy to have you. Thank you. Do you mean your love language is super chats? Is that the joke?
I don't hear anybody laugh.
Okay. All right. I should call it. Should start sculpting on this thing before I destroy it. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening. Have a great weekend. I hope you're staying cool in the Northeast because you're getting hit with the same heat dome thing that we are.
Sure are.
I didn't mention it earlier, but I'm streaming from my basement because the studio is too damn hot. So, but it's actually nice down here, and I can think. That's cool.
So you're finally in the good tradition of every nerd.
Working from the basement. Oh yeah. And where the heck is the chat? Oh, chat. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Dino Sly, Hive Market Minis, Electro Dust Bunny. Oh, was Hive here? Oh, Hive was here. Hive Market Minis, you'll get a special surprise when you see that white dwarf with my stuff in it, but we'll talk more about that later. Mall Ninja, Adam Tennant, Radon, thank you all for joining. Who else we got in here? Mall Ninja. Oh, Tom Wilson was here. Oh, awesome. Oh yeah, Tom Wilson got me his and hers mugs. Unfortunately, Nora's is still in the UK, but we're gonna recover it someday. I was about to say thanks, DarthBob. Didn't realize you were in the chat. Oh, Dan Kaplinger was here earlier. That's cool. Hooge, Jade Finchstein, Can't Strafe Right. Sorry, I'm just doing the Mr. Dress Up thing now. I think that was everyone. All right. And Diana was here. Cool. All right. Let's call it there. Oh, it's just 2 hours. Fantastic. Thank you all for hanging out, for chatting, and we will chat again soon. Adios.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.